Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
My name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And loves to get lucky.
Well, when you say it like that.
I'm not very lucky right now because I'm not feeling very well.
No. But that's why we're going to make this video where we're going to talk about 5 each. We're going to talk about 10 games that are filled with luck.
Because then I feel very lucky to be able to chat with you.
Yeah.
Is that healing medicine?
Mm-hmm.
Lucky. Yeah, so like Tyler said, what we're going to do is we're going to share 10 games with you that have a luck factor in them. We're going to tell you a little bit about the game and what the luck factor is. So if you're looking for something lucky on potentially St. Patrick's Day.
What? Is that why we're making this video?
Yeah, because you get lucky. The 4-leaf clover. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I didn't want to go the obvious, like, let's do green games.
But we're wearing green things.
We're the green.
And the games are the luck.
Of the Irish.
Oh, okay, look at that. Okay, well, there was criteria for the game, and it basically was like, it feels good when you get lucky in this game, essentially.
Is that the criteria?
That was my criteria in this game.
I thought about luck, and then I thought about game.
Wow.
And then I connected the two.
Interesting. The thing that I was trying to like avoid is like the obvious like push your luck games. I think like that's a mechanic in itself and it's obviously part of being lucky.
Okay.
So that some of those games probably fall into this, but I think that I tried to like sprinkle in some games that aren't necessarily a push your luck type thing. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, let's get started. We each chose 5. We're going to share our 5 each in alternating order, and we'll ask you a fun question of the day at the end of the video, so make sure to stick around.
Yeah, no particular order, except mine is going to be small box to big box. Just because they're stacked like that. But I'm gonna start, because I want to. With The Mind. This one's published by Pandasaurus Games, and it's basically this game where you're trying to get through all levels. Yeah. But there's a certain number of levels based on the number of players that you have. And the whole concept here is that you want to play cards in ascending order. And the cards in this deck are from 1 to 100, but you don't know what everybody else has in their own hand. And you're supposed to play silently. So this game can become a lot of fun, especially when you're in the later rounds and people are like trying to determine whether or not they should play their card first. And if you get lucky, which is the fun part about it, if you get lucky, you get to keep going, and then it gets more and more intense as you go. So I think like the growth trajectory of the like anxiety feeling almost is really great in this game, but when you manage to pull it off, it feels absolutely fantastic.
Definitely edge of your seat game, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that's my first game, The Mind.
So my first game is On Tour.
Yeah.
So this is a flip and rate, or roll and rate.
A roll and rate, because the dice are giant.
There's also flips, because you write. It's a flip and a roll and rate.
Wow.
Well, what you're trying to do is you're trying to go on tour across either USA or Europe. And you have a lot of these locations that you can potentially write your low values in, but there's 2 dice that are 10-sided, and you roll them. We're 9-sided. 10-sided.
10-sided because there's a 0. Yeah.
Yeah. So you roll them, and based on you write the 2 numbers. So one number with the 1 number in the front and the other number in the back.
Yeah, the opposite. So if you rolled a 2 and a 4, you're writing 24 and 42
on the cities that you've drawn. But where it gets really tricky is you're trying to create a little tour map road that you can follow at the end of the game. And the numbers that you have to follow have to be in somewhat consecutive order. So that dice roll is so important, because sometimes you'll just roll non-ideal dice rolls and you'll have to put numbers where, you know, the tour does not want you to go there. Yeah. And it just feels, the luck element of this game is when it feels so good when you get that perfect number that connects and makes your tour extra long, perfect city. You have to circle the city because you're writing in the exact city, not even the zone.
Yeah.
And it's just the best feeling. And who doesn't like to send musicians out on tour? Is Taylor Swift one of them? Maybe.
I feel like maybe this would not be a good thing to try and plan a tour around.
Maybe this is how musicians should plan their tours now.
Are you feeling lucky? Well, maybe plan your tour using this game.
No, actually, I disagree because there's no Canada here.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll never get to see any music, live music.
Sad.
That's not lucky, but this game certainly is.
Me up. Okay, mine is the second biggest, smallest game in my
Second
collection.
biggest, smallest.
Biggest, smallest. It's called Love Letter. And this is basically you have cards in your hand and they all have different roles. And you want to basically try and survive until the end. There's a bunch of different cards that will do different things. And essentially on your turn, you'll play a card. And then you'll draw a card. You do the effect of the card, which can be guessing what's in somebody else's hand, looking at somebody else's hand, trading hands with somebody, etc., etc. But the whole point here is you're trying to deliver letters secretly to the princess.
A letter.
A letter, yeah. And you want to collect these cubes. And the reason I think that this is a really fun game that provides that element of luck is particularly with the cards where you have to guess things. Mm-hmm. So when you're around the table and you've got these two cards in your hand, you play a guard, for example, and I'm like, Ilya, you have a priest in your hand.
Because you always draw first.
Yeah. And lo and behold, he has a priest in his hand.
He got me good.
He's eliminated from the game, and that makes you feel so good, especially when it's like the very start of the game too. And there's no information on the table except for what you have in your hand. And yeah, it feels pretty amazing.
Those lucky guesses are really good. Mm-hmm. And then it's played really fast because essentially you just want to be the last one standing. And you can get unlucky and get unlimited like me. You always come for me in Love Letter.
I do. It's easier to come for you than it is for people that we've just taught the game. So that's Love Letter.
My next game is...
In a tin box.
A tin Forbidden Island.
Wow.
So in Forbidden Island, you are essentially trying to recover 4 artifacts and then get on the helicopter and get out of there before the island sinks.
Yes.
And the luck factor of this game is you don't quite know how the island's gonna sink. And sometimes it sinks in very inappropriate ways that lead you to switch strategies completely and try your best to survive and get out of there. It's a cooperative game too, which is really fun, but every turn is suspenseful because when you see the island slowly dissolving, you're just hoping that it's not the tile that you're trying to go to because no one likes to sink or swim.
Well,
some people like swimming.
I kind of like swimming.
But not in Mushy Island.
Not in a Mushy Island where I don't know what's in the water or where the island can further sink. No.
What if a Venus flytrap gets you on your foot while you're in the water?
I don't think that's how those things work.
I don't know. It's the Forbidden Island. It's forbidden for a reason. So get lucky with Forbidden Island.
On to my third game. And I feel like I kept this one in because it is just lucky. I mean, it's in the name. It's called Super Mega Lucky Box. Another, I guess this one's a flip and right. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah. So this one is a true flip and right. It doesn't have any dice in it. And essentially...
Not a combo.
No, not a combo. So essentially what this one is you've got like little tic-tac-toe boards in front of you that have numbers from...
a 3x3 grid.
Yeah, 3x3. I'm going to call it a tic-tac-toe
I like that.
board. It's fun. It's like that because you got to like cross them out. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I like that. And in the columns and the rows, there are rewards when you fill them all out. But basically, they have numbers that you want to cross off when they get flipped. But the fun part about this is definitely the combo piece to it, because some of the rewards give you numbers, and you've got a few different cards in front of you, so you can like combo back and forth between the cards. And when you do get that done, you basically there's been instances, I should say, where I've been able to like chain one number and then cross off like in all 3 of my cards to then end up finishing one card. And the whole goal is you want to be able to finish cards in this game.
That sounds super mega lucky.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the game. There are like ways, there are tokens and different things that you can use to help yourself gain like different numbers. So it isn't that much lucky, but it is really fun when you do get that flip and it's like the perfect card. Makes you feel like you're having a really good time. Super Mega Lucky Box.
My next game is No thanks.
No thanks.
So this is one of my favorite card games to introduce to people because it plays really simple and people just get drawn in and want to keep playing this game. I don't think we've ever played one round of no thanks. It's always been let's play more and more. Yeah. The premise of the game is you want to keep saying no thanks and score the least points. There's going to be cards that come up that range from 3 to 35, I believe.
Yeah.
And you're going to have little secret tokens in your hand. And you're going to, if you don't want the card, you just say no thanks and put a token on it. When a person finally takes it, they take all the tokens. But the catch at the end of the game is you're going to lose points for all the cards that you have. But if you have cards in consecutive order, so let's say you have 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, you only score the lowest card, so 10 in this case. And that's where that luck factor comes in because, you know, you took that 35 with a ton of tokens because no one wanted the highest card. And then later you got stuck with a 33 with a ton of tokens. And lo and behold, a 34 comes up. And it feels so good because all the tokens you got too cancel out some of the numbers.
Assuming you haven't used them all. And then the important thing that Ilya didn't mention is that some of the cards are taken out, so you don't actually know if the 34 is going to be in there.
Exactly.
And when it does come up, definitely feels pretty great because you like can manipulate the board to try and get more tokens and get the card, so it's a lot of fun.
Because you know you don't want other people to take it.
And nobody probably wants the card either, so they're going to spend their tokens on it.
Perfect.
Alright, this one is a dexterity game that I have a lot of fun with. It's called Mickey and Friends Food Fight, an all-out dash to toss those snacks. So essentially in this game there's a bunch of different snacks, from burgers, hamburgers, drinks, I guess milkshakes or however you want to do it, and then ice creams.
Popsicles.
Yeah. So you have all these tokens in front of you, equal amounts at each person's like dining tray, and you start the game off with these dice. You start rolling them, and based on what shows up, you end up throwing your tokens either into the center where they're no longer in play or to another player's board. And the whole goal here is to try and empty your board. You do this by going really fast with your dice.
You're literally having a food fight.
You're literally having a food fight, and it is so much fun. It's so chaotic, and the real piece here is the luck of being able to like roll the right things at the right time, because at a certain point you'll have just like a few of the exact same ones and you can never get rid of them because people will just keep on passing you them. But when you roll that 3 and you roll that right symbol, you're good to go, and it feels absolutely fantastic.
My recommendation is to audio record yourself playing this game on your phone. Because then you get amazing quotes like, "No, 3 hot dogs in my face, what?"
That's true.
Get those popsicles away from me.
Yeah.
And it's just really funny because everyone gets so involved in shaking those dice, and the atmosphere is just fantastic.
Yeah, this game is a lot of fun. It's very easy to teach too, so it's just like this, you throw everybody into it, and it's just this chaotic mess of like who can do it the fastest and get the luckiest rolls. So food fight.
My next game is The Key, Murder at Oakdale Club. The reason I say Murder at Oakdale Club is because there's numerous versions of The Key that vary in complexity and different stories.
Multiple murders at one single club?
Or crimes. It doesn't have to be a murder.
Oh.
Sometimes jewels are just taken.
Wow.
Okay. Exactly. So the premise of this game is you're trying to solve a mystery, and you have a lot of clues at hand. What's really cool about this game is it comes with 8 or 9 mysteries, I'm pretty sure 9, that feature different key colors. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw cards from the center that feature a variety of clues depending on what you're trying to figure out. This could be the suspect, the venue, the time of the crime, and they'll give you little hints to what the crime could be. So you could find out that this person was seen after this person, but you don't know the time. So you're trying to piece things together based on the color of your crime. Now, the more of these cards you take, the worse score you're going to get. There's also higher value cards that give you more information, but there's also lower value cards that give you less information. So you're trying to balance everything you're trying to do, but you're also doing this at the exact same time as everybody else. So somebody could be taking that clue that you really need. Now, where the luck factor comes in this game is picking that right card. Because sometimes you draw that card and it's the perfect piece of information that ties everything together. And then you're basically a genius who can solve any crime in the world. And who doesn't love that feeling?
That is true, yeah. So it's basically like a social or a deduction game, a logic puzzle that's just scattered around the table. And because there's that limiting factor of you want to get it done the fastest and the most efficiently, because that's how you win the game, it definitely helps when you do draw that perfect card. And it's like, yes, I can do this now.
And sometimes you take a lucky guess. And there's a really suspenseful moment at the end of the game because you take the key and you put it in the hole where the number corresponding to your guess is. And then you flip it over, and if the color matches on the back, you win.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't,
it's on to the next
unlucky. Unlucky.
All right, last game on my list. I feel like I had to have this game on here. It's Quacks of Quedlinburg. Is that how you say it? Quedlinburg?
I said it wrong last time.
I always say quacks because it's just, I mean, those are the big...
Quedlinburg.
Anyways, in this game, you are essentially a potion maker trying to make a wonderful potion that will basically, I put it as like sell in high value, because you'll be rewarded with points and money that you can spend for more ingredients that go into your wonderful bag.
Don't forget about the rat tails.
Oh no, the rat tails. Yeah. So you'll basically, it's a bag builder where you're going to be pushing your luck and drawing different tokens out of your bag. Each of these tokens will provide you with a different type of reward, or they won't provide you with a reward at all and they do the complete opposite. You have these like cherry bomb things. I don't remember if that's what they're actually called, but you've got these ingredients that if you add too many of them in there, you'll explode, and that does not feel good. So early on, the game is kind of like you never really make it to the outer ring, and you're kind of just trying to like push yourself to see how far you can get before busting. And hopefully, and sometimes maybe you want to bust, but who knows. But at the end of the game, when you're in the closer to the end game, you've got a bunch of tokens in your bag, and you can really, really push your luck and have these fun little combos going on where you can get all the way to the end of your pot. And that feels absolutely amazing, which is something I've been saying about every single game, because luck, when it happens, feels fantastic.
Don't draw those cherry bombs. Draw the ingredients and get out of there.
This game has a lot of variety. There's several different tokens, each with different abilities, and there's like flip sides to each of those abilities ×2, I think, because there's 2 books of each of them. A lot of fun, bag builder, push your luck, and yeah, I would. I'd be silly not to include this in my
I would say it's a classic. I feel like I also picked like a classic, one of my favorite big moment lucky games.
Yeah.
And that is Space Base. This is the big box because it has all of our expansion content.
The command station.
Yes. So in Space Base, you are deploying a space fleet. What you're doing is you're rolling your dice, you're getting money, and then you're buying new ships to add to your fleet. But the catch is when you buy new ships, your other ships will get deployed and go explore the outer space. The cool mechanic of this is when you roll your dice, you'll activate the blue slots on your board. But as you deploy ships, red slots will come up, and you'll get to activate those on other players' turns. So you can build a really fun engine, essentially, where if Tyler continues to roll those 7s and I have a ton in the 7, then I can gain a lot and get faster ahead and reach that 40 points to win the game.
Yes, yeah.
Now, the lucky part of this game, and the many, many memories I have of this game, is I love defying the odds and putting all my money on an 11 or a 12, and because usually those give you much more, but of course they're rolled much less.
Yeah.
And there's one time where I went all in on an 11. I had a ton of cards. I flipped a ton of cards. And it was basically my money card. Anytime someone rolled an 11, I was rolling in points. And I was extremely happy with that because it happened 3 times in a row at one point.
Oh, yeah?
And by the time it came back to my turn, I was just like, look at me. I can buy anything I want. And that feels really lucky. So if you're looking for that, and if you're looking also to be involved in every turn of the game, Space is another classic you should definitely check out.
Yeah, my favorite thing about Space is like people are constantly paying attention to the game. And then obviously like it's fun to play strategy games and everything like that. There is some strategy obviously to this game, but it is a lot of rolling dice and getting lucky with the rolls and then planning your strategy and like going for different numbers ships. It's a lot of fun and it is great when you get lucky.
Lucky. And that's been 10 games with luck.
Wow.
Factor.
With a luck factor.
10 luck-based games.
That feel great when we're lucky.
That sounds like a lot of words.
That's a long title.
Well,
10 top 10 lucky-based games. Boom. I have no idea.
No, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We figured it out. You can see it right here. Now, if you enjoy our content, you can consider checking out our Patreon page. This past week, we asked our Patreon members what their favorite or a luck-based game that they really enjoyed. And here's a couple of answers we'll share. Sean said, potentially controversial question, is Cosmic Encounter predominantly luck-based?
Is that the one with the frogs?
No, that's Cosmic Frog. That's the wrong game, Tyler. But that controversial question is for you. Is it a luck-based game? Because we haven't played it
I
yet.
was just going to say, we have not played it.
Now, the second game we also have not played is from Christy. And she said, one of my go-tos is Can't Stop.
Can't Stop, Won't Stop.
Really good things
I've
about
also
Can't
heard
Stop.
really good things about it.
So we should probably play that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feel free to check out our Patreon and let us know down in the comments below what your favorite luck-based game is as well. Because we'd love to hear all your thoughts and we'd love to get lucky together.
Woo!
That was me rolling dice.
Roll the dice.
Roll the dice. And if you enjoyed this video,
give us that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. We love chatting about board games on a weekly basis. And
we are going to do a question of the day.
I was just going to say, I thought we were doing a question of the day.
Yeah, so that was a pre-question of the day.
Pre-question.
So now is a fun question of the day. And that is, what is one lucky moment that you've had in your life where you felt like you were really lucky?
Lucky moment that I've had in my life.
I can go first.
I also have one.
Okay, you go first.
It's not very amazing, but it did feel good as I think I was only like 8 or 9, but I was at Costco. And I was sitting on one of those like patio benches that like swing back and forth. And then right in front of me, there was like $80. And I was like, oh, cool.
Like 4 $20 bills?
Yeah, 4 $20 bills. So I reached down, I grabbed them, I bring it to my dad. And he's like, well, we'll go to the front and ask like, should you announce it and blah, blah, blah. So we go to the front, customer service announces if somebody's missing a bunch of cash, that they should come to the front. And my dad was like, okay, well, we're only gonna wait here for like 15 minutes. If nobody comes, then they're either not in the store or they don't know that they've lost it. And I got to keep that. And as an 8 or 9 year old, $80 is a lot of money. I was over the moon. Was that the saying?
Yeah.
Over the moon.
What did you spend it on?
I don't even know. Probably a video game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mine, when I was a kid, I actually was very lucky. I used to win a lot of stuff, like when you know on the bottle caps, like when you flip them over.
Yeah.
Like I won a lot of those. I got T-shirts. I got like a ton of stuff. Wow. But I think the luckiest, I have very few memories of this, but at one point I think I sent an envelope with a bunch of pop. You know, like when you peel off the label. And sometimes there's something on the back.
Yeah.
So like it was jam packed. It was this envelope with those because I think you had to collect them. I don't remember, but I remember sending that envelope. And then I was invited to be on a children's show.
Oh, I remember.
In the city, and it was like a really big deal because we lived like probably 45 minutes out of the city in like the university town in Russia. And I was like, oh, this is a big deal. And I was probably 4 or 3 at this point. And I remember being on the show. I remember sitting here, and I think all I had to do was like, because it was like a prize draw or something, I had to draw in the bag and then wave to the camera. And I really want to find it. Like I need to find, because that clip exists somewhere out there. And I should really find it. But I remember feeling really lucky because it was just like, let's mail a bunch of pop little labels, and then all of a sudden you're a star on a TV show.
You're a star.
I wasn't a star. I don't think I was charismatic enough. I think I was really shy.
I would say you were probably really shy.
But I think the more charismatic kids, I think, won some good prizes. I don't think I remember what I won.
That's just mean.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed our content, do all those things that Tyler said, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yep. Until next time, bye!